using the TI-83 Plus calculator for inferences about two proportions. This video uses the example titled Proportion of Cars with Rear License Plates Only. Are the proportions the same in Connecticut and New York? When using the TI-83 Plus calculator for inferences about two population proportions, you must know the sample size n and the number of successes x for the samples from each of the two populations. For either sample, if you don't know the number of successes but you know the value of the sample size and the sample proportion, you can calculate the number of successes by multiplying the sample size by the sample proportion, then round the result to the nearest whole number. We begin by providing the procedure for a hypothesis test followed by the procedure for confidence intervals. For a hypothesis test in which we are testing a claim about two population proportions, use the following procedure. First, press the Stat key and then press the right arrow key twice to highlight Tests in the top menu. The highlighted item appears as white text in a black box. Use the down arrow key to select the sixth menu item of 2-prop z-test for a hypothesis test of a claim involving two proportions. Press Enter. You can also press the number 6 key to select this function. Next, enter the values of the numbers of successes and sample size for both populations. All of these values must be whole numbers. Press Enter after each entry to move to the next input. In this example, for x1 we enter 239, for n1 we enter 2049, for x2 we enter 9, and for n2 we enter 550. For P1, select the type of test, two-tailed, left-tailed, or right-tailed. Select the option that uses the same symbol as the alternative hypothesis. For a two-tailed test, select the option does not equal P2. For a left-tailed test, select the option less than P2, and for a right-tailed test, select the option greater than P2. In this example, we select does not equal P2. Press Enter. Press the down arrow key twice, and Calculate will now be highlighted as indicated by the blinking cursor. Press Enter to view the results. The test statistic z and p-value are provided in the second and third rows of the results. The p-value of less than 0.0001 is less than the desired significance level of 0.05, so we reject the null hypothesis of P1 equal P2. Because we reject the null hypothesis, we conclude that there is sufficient evidence to support the claim that population proportion 1 does not equal population proportion 2. In other words, there is sufficient evidence to support the claim that Connecticut and New York have different proportions of cars with rear license plates only. Next, we look at the procedure for finding a confidence interval estimate of the difference between two population proportions. Press the Stat key, and then press the right arrow key twice to select Tests from the top menu. Use the down arrow key to select the menu item of 2-prop z-interval or 2-prop z-int for a hypothesis test of a claim involving two proportions. Press Enter. You can also press the alpha key, then abs key for the letter B to select this function. Enter the values for the number of successes and sample size for both populations. All of these values must be whole numbers. Press Enter after each entry to move to the next input. Once again, in this example, for x1 we enter 239, for n1 we enter 2049, for x2 we enter 9, and for n2 we enter 550. For C level, enter the desired confidence level. In this example, we are constructing a 95% confidence interval, so we enter 0.95. Calculate will now be highlighted as indicated by the blinking cursor. Press Enter to view the results. On the first line, we see the 95% confidence interval. The confidence interval is 0.0828 to 0.11776. The confidence interval limits do not contain 0, implying that there is a significant difference between the two populations. Because both confidence intervals are positive, the confidence interval suggests that the value of population proportion 1 is greater than the value of population proportion 2. There does appear to be sufficient evidence to warrant rejection of the claim that Connecticut and New York have the same proportion of cars with rear license plates only.